This lesson shows how to subtract with negative numbers. This lesson assumes you already know how to add with negative numbers. To add numbers with different signs, find the difference of their absolute values. The first sum is positive because the positive number has the largest absolute value. The second sum is negative because the negative number has the largest absolute value. To add numbers with the same signs, add their absolute values. The first sum is negative because both numbers are negative. And the second sum is positive because both numbers are positive. From a previous lesson, you learned about the inverse property of addition. For any number m, the inverse of the number is written as the opposite of m. The sum of a number and its inverse is 0. For example, -5 is the inverse of 5, and 7 is the inverse of -7. Now, you already know that 9 minus 3 is 6. You can see this on a number line. To subtract 9 minus 3, you start at the origin and count 9 units right, and then 3 units left. Since you end up at plus 6, you can see 9 minus 3 is 6. The important thing to notice about this example, 9 minus 3 is the same as 9 plus -3. That is, 9 units right plus 3 units left is 6. Here's a second example. To subtract 7 minus 10, start at the origin and count 7 units right, and then 10 units left. Since you end up at -3, you can see 7 minus 10 is -3. Again, the important thing to notice about this example, 7 minus 10 is the same as 7 plus -10. That is, 7 units right plus 10 units left is -3. Here's a third example. To subtract -3 minus 5, start at the origin and count 3 units left, and then 5 units left. Since you end up at -8, you can see -3 minus 5 equals -8. And again, the important thing to notice about this example, -3 minus 5 is the same as -3 plus -5. That is, 3 units left plus 5 units left is -8. So you can see -3 is the same as plus -3, and -10 is the same as plus -10, and -5 is the same as plus -5. And in general, a minus b is the same as a plus the inverse of b. This is important because in algebra there are no rules for subtraction. Instead, you rewrite subtraction as addition of the inverse and use the rules for addition. So 9 minus 3 is rewritten as 9 plus -3, which is positive, the difference of 9 and 3 for 6. And 7 minus 10 is rewritten as 7 plus -10, which is negative, the difference of 10 and 7 for negative 3. Finally, negative 3 minus 5 is rewritten as negative 3 plus negative 5, which is negative the sum of 3 and 5 for negative 8. Rewriting each subtraction as addition might seem like extra work and a waste of time. And for the first question, you're right. Either way, it's just 9 minus 3. But that's because the first question is a grammar school question. A larger number take away a smaller number. However, the other questions are not grammar school. For example, in the second question, you learn 7 minus 10 is really 10 minus 7. And in the third question, you learn sometimes subtraction is really addition. Also, you're going to learn to use this definition to subtract expressions, not just numbers. So don't skip over this lesson quickly, thinking it's extra work and a waste of time. The extra time and effort will pay off later in the course. Here's another example, 5 minus negative 4. In order to understand what this means, rewrite subtraction as addition of the inverse. So 5 minus negative 4 is 5 plus the inverse of negative 4, which is plus 4. The inverse of negative 4 is plus 4, and the sum is 9. The idea to remember here is minus a negative is a plus. Here are 3 more examples to help make this more clear. 23 minus 56 is rewritten as 23 plus negative 56. Since this is the sum of numbers with different signs, this is negative the difference of the absolute values, 56 minus 23 for negative 33. Negative 25 minus 41 is rewritten as negative 25 plus negative 41. Since this is the sum of numbers with the same signs, this is negative the sum of the absolute values, 25 plus 41, for negative 66. Negative 55 minus negative 28 is rewritten as negative 55 plus 28. Since this is the sum of numbers with different signs, this is negative the difference of the absolute values, 55 minus 28, for negative 27. This lesson showed how to subtract with negative numbers. And this lesson was brought to you by the Math Fun Academy. Its continuing mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new math and new equations, to boldly go where no math student has gone before.